so we're already streaming. Now we just gotta go live. So, ready? We are officially live.
All right.
Okay. Let's see where everybody is. I don't need this. I will need that. I will have this open.
Okay, so we're already streaming. Just live. So, ready?
I'm such a dork.
We are.
Okay. That's me
Okay.
being a dork. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Okay. Everyone, welcome. Brian Liu.
Hi.
And you can see Mochi over here. Mochi, you want to say
hi?
hi? Mochi's doing the typical thing where he's only showing his butt to the audience. Okay, we have Leah. I see Jenny, New York. Jim in Skokie. Sherry in Wisconsin. Snow predicted on Saturday. What?
Wow.
That's crazy. Okay, Heidi, hello. Julie, Oakville, Ontario. George in Pasadena. Anne in Jersey City. Okay, great. You got a hi, Brian.
Hello.
Yeah. Kat from the Great White North. Mark. Hi, Mark. Good to see you. Holly from Kansas. Jenny from the East Bay. Excellent. Mimi from Central Valley. Great. Thank you all for tuning in. All right.
Cool.
So, hopefully everyone has their color-coded chord charts. That's the amazing thing about Brian's chord charts. The color coding really helps.
Sweet.
So, and I think I did mention to you to print out in color if you could. Because last time when people didn't print out in color, they were like, oh, we didn't realize we needed to print in color. So, is this okay to leave
Yeah,
them
let's do
here?
it. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's perfect.
Fine. Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll do page 1 and page 2. Oh, we were gonna play.
You want to
for-
start? Yeah, with the
yeah.
song?
Well, do you want to talk a little bit?
Sure, yeah. So this lesson is going to be about 2-5, the chord progression or the pattern 2-5. It's the most common pattern you'll see in jazz. And so we picked a song that has a lot of those 2-5 patterns in it. So I figured we'd play it first.
Yep.
And you guys can get a preview of what we're going to learn in this lesson.
Cool. I see Sandra from Redondo Beach has joined us, and Robin from Salt Lake City. Excellent. Great. Mark had grandchild number 10. Wow.
Whoa.
Amazing. Congratulations. Okay, so we're going to play through the song that's on page 2 of the PDF. So hopefully you printed out both pages. It's a song called Did I Do? Do you know who it's by? Bet I can look it up. Oh no, it's fun. Who did you learn this tune from? It's a classic jazz tune.
There's a lot of people who play it. My favorite renditions are Ella Fitzgerald. Ray Charles does this.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really good.
Ooh, that seems like
that's
up your alley.
Yeah. Ray Charles.
Hirsch
Diana
Rose.
Krall.
Okay.
Those are kind of the oh, and I think Nat King Cole did it too.
Mm-hmm.
So probably those 4 recordings I've listened to many times.
Cool. Yeah. We can use this as secondary
Yeah,
reference.
yeah. Okay.
Joan is glad that we're doing more jazz classes. I know Joan was asking for those jazz classes, so look at Jenny, composer Fred Rose, lyricist Walter Hirsch. So
Wow.
good.
Wow.
And then welcome Sandra, other Sandra. 1926, totally era of the glory days of jazz songwriting.
Sweet.
Yes. Great. Cool. Hi, Christina. Welcome. So, shall we play through?
Yeah.
You want to sing in unison, or you want?
Yeah, let's sing in unison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like we just did. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Any intro?
You want to just intro with that, the E7?
Okay. We're gonna intro with the second line of the verse. Okay. Yeah. You want to count it in?
1, 2, 3, 4. found you. That's why I'm always hanging around
You. Back to verse 1.
Do I love you? Oh my, do I? Honey, did I do?
Oh yeah,
Something
just like that.
Yeah, okay.
What is NCFC?
I mean, there's so many ways you can
Yeah,
end it.
yeah.
Cool. So that's what we're gonna get to today. We're gonna work through that, learn all these chords, and then really, I kind of wanted to dive in and show how these chords and these patterns work on the ukulele. Yeah. So with that, shall we switch to the first page?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the one that says 2/5 pattern on it. It's
Intro to Jazz Ukulele 2/5 pattern.
Yeah.
And for those of you who might not have joined us for the workshops last year with Brian, we did a 3-part series. The first one was about minor 7.
About minor 7.
Right?
The
Yeah.
second one was on dominant, and then the third one was on major 7.
Yeah.
And those are like the 3 kind of like the foundation of jazz. And then when you start putting them together, you have the minor 7 and the dominant, which typically is a 2/5 in jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've broke it down here. So
Yeah. So on the top here it says the most common 2-chord sequence in jazz is the 2/5, and then when you have the lowercase 2 Roman numeral 2,
Yeah.
that means that it's a minor
minor.
7. Yeah, or minor.
Yeah, a minor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then the V, the capital V, is for 5, and that means it's a dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me go through. I'll show you guys what each of these columns are, which is there's 4 different ways to play a 2/5 combination on the ukulele. And I'll kind of jump between this top half and the bottom half because we can use G minor 7, C7 as an example. But let me show first, here's what it sounds like, right? A G minor 7 to a C7, something like that, right? Here's another one, right? I think there's, this is like, is it like that, right?
Yeah, we'll
And
walk
then-
through all of them, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. So these patterns are, if you just learn the way that it moves from a minor 7 to a dominant, you can apply this to every chord on the ukulele. And we'll kind of see that when we get to the song example. So maybe we'll start with the first column, right?
Yep.
And what you'll see is I put a little R. For those of you who are familiar with music theory, the R stands for root. Like, so where is the root of that chord, right? And in this case, the root is on the G string here, and that's a G minor 7 chord, right?
Yeah. So maybe we all start by playing the 2 chord that's in the first column.
Yeah.
So
And we can play it. Should we play it as a G minor? Because I mean, really, what I was doing with the part up top, I'm not actually indicating a fret. I'm more showing what is the
shape.
The shape. Yeah, the shape is what's important, and the movement of the shape.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe we can, if we play that at the end of the fret, then it becomes the G minor 7, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure if you guys remember, I use this shape a lot in, what did I use this a lot in? Definitely in Stars Fell in Alabama, I use this a lot. But I feel like you all could probably tell me better than I could. I've used this A minor in teaching you some jazz chords, so yeah. So maybe
Yeah.
I think I've taught it as an A minor 7
Okay.
to
we can
the
do
D7.
that. Sure. Yeah. Let's
So
do
maybe
that.
we could start by doing that.
So here's A minor 7, right? You got your bar,
Yeah.
or your index finger just on that G string on the 2nd fret, right?
Yeah. So that's this first column. We're going to take this shape and put it on where we bar the first fret.
Bar the 2nd fret.
Oh, the
for-
2nd fret,
for
sorry.
the A minor.
Yeah.
Sounds like that.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, if that's the 2 in the 2-5, it moves to a D7,
Yeah.
right?
So you stay within the same bar. Yeah.
And that's the pattern. It's whenever you start with this minor 7 shape,
Yeah.
the subsequent dominant chord is that shape,
Yeah.
right?
Should we show it on the G minor
Yeah.
now?
So if you did it on G minor, you moved it all back to like an open string.
So take that column, right, pattern, and then apply it to the red on the bottom, the red G minor 7
Yeah.
and the C7. So essentially you're taking it off the end of the neck, right? So your bar is at the end of the neck. Yeah? So that looks like this,
Yeah.
and then you're barring
Yeah.
off the end of the neck for the C7. Everybody okay with that? Yep. G
I-
minor 7. So I think a lot of you will know the G minor 7 and the C7 as open chords.
Right.
But if you were to reconcept it as a bar chord, right, then you would put your middle finger, your bar finger off the end of the neck. And then your C7 actually becomes more like the D7, the D7 that we know,
Yeah.
but off the end of the neck,
Yeah.
like that.
And so what I was trying to show here is that these patterns, they're actually all the same, right? When you start with this shape, the subsequent dominant chord is there. That same shape, the subsequent dominant. You could go all the way up. Everywhere you go up the fretboard, right? You follow this minor 7 shape with that dominant shape. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Well, why don't we just have people try it, right? So let's do our G minor 7, right, to C7. Then we'll go up 2 frets to A minor 7 to D7. All right. So that's our 2-5. I think I forgot to go back to that basic thing, right? That like if you're in the key of whatever key you're in, right, then the 2 is like the next key up. So if we're looking at G minor 7 to C7, then we are in the key of
F.
So the G minor 7 is the 2, and then the C7 is the 5. So that means you're in the key of
Yeah.
F. So F is the 1, F,
Right.
then G, A, B, C.
Yep.
Yep. So for some of you, if you haven't had that kind of like learning the basic counting within the scale, then you want to just get a grasp of that. Yep?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then our 2 is the G minor. And then our 5 is the C7. Yep. So then if we go up 1 key, right, up 2 frets, then we go A minor 7, right? And then A, let's say A is the 2.
Yeah.
A, B, C, D is the 5. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you're in the key of
So G.
G
Yeah.
is your 1, yeah. And this stuff can be confusing, but just let it sink in, and it'll come up over. You'll absorb it over time. Okay, let's move up 2 more frets.
Sure.
Then we're
B
at
minor 7.
B minor 7, right? B, C, D, E is your 5, right? And then you're in the key of A, right?
Yep.
And then we can move up. Let's just do 1 more. right?
Sure.
1 fret more on the 5th fret, barring the 5th fret.
Sure.
Yeah. This is C minor 7. You stay in the bar.
It's a tricky one. In
Is
the
it?
key of B flat.
Key of B flat, and you're going from C minor 7 to F7,
Yep.
right? So C, D, E, F.
There you go.
Yeah? Or really the 1 is the B flat. 1,
Yeah.
C, D, E, F. Okay?
Cool.
So it's a lot more about understanding the relationship and then seeing how this shape, right,
Yeah.
is consistent
The shape is consistent.
because of the relationship. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. That sums it up pretty well. No, that's good. That's great because this same concept now applies to the other 3 chord shapes, right?
Shape relationships.
The relationships. So, yeah. So now like we can move to the blue shape.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll look at the second one.
The second shape is
Should we just start with the blue?
yeah. Why don't we
Okay.
start with the G minor 7,
It's in the 3rd fret.
where you're starting on the 3rd fret. Sounds like this.
Yep.
right?
So your fingers are 3 5 3 5.
right?
Yeah, on the blue shape, 3 5 3 5. Yeah.
And then we're gonna move to C7, which is you're barring the 3rd fret with your middle finger on the 4th fret.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the pattern. It moves from this kind of a boxy shape, right, to this sort of like bar with the middle finger down.
Yeah. 3 4 3 3. So again, you're keeping the bar in the same fret.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Should we move that up?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so if we
So if
move
you
that
move
up,
like 2 frets,
two
right?
frets.
This would be A minor 7, and the 5 in a 2/5 is D7, right?
so that's the same relationship we
Yeah.
were talking about before, and now it's just a different set of chords that are
Right.
keeping that relationship. Yeah, and then we move
Perfect.
that up 2 more frets.
Sure.
That's our B minor again.
7, yeah. E7, yeah. So yeah, this is all to show you that the pattern, it always stays the same, and that's what's gonna make it easier. Because when you know just 4 patterns, then you can start to figure out, well, if you know where the root note is, for instance, right? Like someone says, hey, play F sharp minor 7, and you're like, but if you know where F sharp is, then it's right there, and usually the subsequent chord is going to be B7, right? Or F7, F minor 7 is there to B flat 7, right? And so that. As you really get familiar with these 4 shapes, you can sort of let go of having to memorize a dictionary of chords. You can just start to remember, well, I know that there's like, a G here, and if I wanted to play G minor 7, I could play it there, right? That's kind of where this method is going. And you'll see when we get to the song that all of this kind of falls into place in how we can construct these chords as we move up and down the fretboard.
Okay.
Yeah?
Everybody okay with that so far? Okay, so that's our red shape, our
And
red relationship,
Yep,
right?
and the blue
and
one,
our
yeah.
blue one.
Mhm.
Okay, are we ready for green?
Should we do green?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So now we're looking at the 3rd column here,
Yep.
and then the green. See how Brian lines it all up? It's super fun that way. Okay, so now we're looking at the green, which
Yep.
is
So we're also gonna let's play G minor 7,
Yeah.
and this is as if the C string now has the root note. So that's the root note G,
Yeah.
right? That's a G minor 7.
this can be kind of hard to play. You want to cover both strings with your middle finger. Yeah?
Yep.
That's how you do
Yeah,
it?
I do. Some people play it with that.
You could also, play it like a
Yeah.
D minor 7, like D minor with your
Yeah.
pinky.
Right.
But
But I think the reason I like to use that sort of barring across 2 strings is because it makes my wrist a little bit more relaxed,
Yeah.
right?
it's true. Yeah, so I'll show you.
I found some people who say that when they use all 4 fingers like that, their wrist kind of comes out.
Yeah, it
And it's-
starts popping out.
It's
like
a little bit uncomfortable to play that way. But, okay.
Holly's saying for the first 2 chord shape, do you need to bend your finger to cover 2 notes? Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I use my index finger. If it's in that open position with the G, I'm using my index finger. But
Right.
if you're barring, right, now I'm barring with my index finger, and so I use my middle finger to hold the E and the A string. Yep.
Yeah.
I do D minor with my pinky. I would like to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For this one, it takes a little getting used to.
Hmm.
Really, I think for me, it's like if I were playing a song where I was forced to play that because it was the easiest transition. That's how I got better at.
Yeah.
But even D minor 7, I usually play D minor 7 with all 4 fingers.
Oh, yeah?
It's more up.
I think it's when you're playing
neck.
higher. Yeah.
Up the
when you're
neck
playing
is
higher
where
up.
I find it's necessary to
Yeah.
use the middle finger
Yeah.
covering 2 strings.
So that's G minor 7, and then the corresponding C7 is right there. Yeah. And just, I'm going to relate this to some chord shapes that you might already know. You probably know the D minor 7 shape to the G7 shape, right? We're doing that same thing up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah. I guess now that we're so high up, we can kind of walk them
Yeah,
down.
we can walk down now. So
Right.
let's do.
Or actually, maybe we start at D minor and then walk
Sure,
it
we
up.
can walk it up.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So here's D minor 7.
So this is the green shape, just over down by
Yeah.
the first position frets. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. To a G7.
So those are familiar chords,
Right.
you know, for most of you.
And so if we move it up 2 frets, E minor 7 to A7, right? Yeah, and that's because that's the root. That's the E to A7. Yeah.
One more fret.
Yeah.
F.
To the F.
Sure.
F minor 7 to B flat 7. Yeah. And you don't have to know all the names of these chords right now. Really, it's the pattern. That's what's most important.
Yeah.
When you know the pattern, it'll just kind of open up how
Yeah.
you play through these sequences.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially up here, I kind of, if I'm gonna play F minor 7, my hand
Yeah.
just kind of goes there, right? It knows to go to the 5.
Yeah.
And then the corresponding 5. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
It becomes a habit at a certain point, so you think less.
Yeah.
You think less with
Yeah.
yeah.
Hi, Linda.
Um,
You're gonna jump in with us. We're on the green shape of the 2-5 relationship, so you might have to catch up a little bit. Do you think we're ready to move on to
should we
yellow?
move on to the yellow?
Okay.
Yeah.
So now let's look at this yellow pair,
Mm-hmm.
which is the last column here on the top.
And the root note here is the A string, right? That's a G. So that's a G minor 7. And the corresponding one, you're gonna move back the E string 2 frets and the G string 1 fret too. Right?
Sometimes I think it's easier to understand relationship if you had stacked your fingers, right?
Sure, yeah.
Because then 2 of the fingers stay. Well, actually, only the
Uh-huh.
pinky stays in place.
What's interesting about all these chords is the movement between 2 strings is always the same, right? So in every case, one string is moving back 2
Oh,
frets
right.
and another string is moving back 1 fret.
Okay.
And the other 2 are staying the same, right? So in this case was like the C and the E stayed in the same place, and it's like the A and the G string that moved. And up here, the
See,
A and the
I've never really thought of that.
Yeah.
So this is why these workshops are good for me too.
right, and then even here,
Yeah. Totally
right?
makes
Those
sense.
2 strings are staying the same, and those ones move. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like all of these have a very similar movement to it. It's just on different strings, right?
And the sound too. Yeah.
Yeah. If your ukuleles are plugged in, we're not plugged
Yeah.
in.
No,
Is
we're
it
acoustic
hard?
right now.
Is it hard to hear?
No, I think it should be pretty loud.
Oh, okay.
Is it blowing it up? Is it too loud?
Okay.
So most of you probably recognize this bar shape, right? This
Yeah.
minor 7, right? That you have your open strings, A minor 7, B minor 7, C minor 7,
yeah. C
right?
minor 7
so
to-
yeah, if we walked it back down to the first position frets, right? You have your B minor 7, right? So then if B is your 2, B, C, D, E,
Yeah.
and then most of us know our E7 shape.
Yeah. That's
Right,
that
so-
pattern. Mm-hmm.
It's getting used to that. Okay, so then if we have C minor 7, 3rd
Yep.
fret, right? Corresponding shape,
F7. Yeah.
F7, right? So, yeah, I guess it's 2 ways to go about it. You can learn the corresponding shapes, and then you can also learn the relationship in just the name of the chord.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And then you want to go
Oh yeah, should we go up again?
5th fret, D minor
minor.
7.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then we go D, E, F, G.
G7.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then,
You can do E minor 7
E
to
minor.
A7. Yeah.
yeah. And then our F.
Yeah. To B flat.
Flat.
Mm-hmm.
Finally our
Then
G again.
G. C7. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just covered all 4 types of 2/5 patterns on the ukulele. And it might seem daunting, but when we jump, no, but this is gonna be really cool, okay? Because this song
Has so many two
has so
fives.
many, and what I realized last night when I was finishing this up is actually each of these four
Is
patterns
represented.
is actually represented in this song.
That's great.
Right? The G minor, and we don't even have to play it yet. We can just look at G minor 7 to C7.
Oh yeah, let's ask. Actually, we'll ask them to identify.
Oh,
where
yeah.
the
Should we
two
do
fives
that?
are.
Okay.
We can do that. We'll do that as our next challenge.
Okay.
Yeah? But I just want to give everyone a caveat that if this is all overwhelming, it's more about. I think if you look at this worksheet and just kind of see if you can go from shape to shape within the same color code, then that's where you want to allow your fingers to get familiar with the shapes.
Yeah.
And if the theory concepts are too much for you right now, then just focus on trying to achieve these shapes and move between them. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Should we look
Cool.
at that?
Yeah. I think, and the last thing I put on this
on the
worksheet
bottom
is
here.
just, what are the most common ones that are played in jazz ukulele?
Yeah.
It's G minor 7, C7, right?
Yeah.
D minor 7, G7. These are the most common ones
Right.
that you'll find.
Yeah, these are ones we just talked about here. So
Yeah.
let's talk about it again, right? So remember again, 2 5, right? So 2 is your minor 7,
Yeah.
and then 5 is your dominant 7,
Right.
Right. So we have your G, right? You're in the key of F is your 1, right? G is 2, A, B, C is your
Yeah.
5, D minor 7 to
7.
G7.
To
You're in the
G7.
key of C, right? And then 2 is your D, E, F, G is your 5, right? E minor 7 to A7. You're in the key
Yep.
of D. And then your 2 is your E, F,
G, A.
technically F sharp.
Yeah.
B,
Yeah, right.
G sharp A, right? A is your 5.
Uh-huh.
And then A minor 7, you're in the key of G.
Yeah.
A is your 2, right? A
Yeah.
minor. And then B, C, D is your
D7.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are a great starting point for learning different 2-5 combinations on the ukulele.
Linda's asking, what iPad sheet music app do you use? Can you use the iPad Pencil to mark? I think you can just mark it in preview, like when you just open the PDF. That's what I do at the Beatles jam.
Yeah.
It's terrible because I didn't use the iPad Pencil. I just used my finger, and I wrote on the songbook, on my digital songbook,
Yeah.
tambourine, but in real terrible chicken scratch. Just with my finger, I wrote it really big, and then when they projected on the screen, it showed
It's
on
a
the screen.
tambourine.
It said "tam" in really terrible chicken
I
scratch
love
because I
it.
just used my finger. But I think that's the fun thing about the iPad. I think you can do it just on any viewer
Yeah.
on the iPad. Okay,
Cool.
so knowing these, we thought it would be a fun exercise to look at this song on the second page
Yeah.
and identify where the 2 5s are.
Where are the 2-5s in this song? There's a few of them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And
I
so.
feel like you could just tell people.
Okay.
Go ahead and look
So
at
the
it.
first one, right, that we're gonna that we play is the G minor 7 C. That's the one that I use as an example in the
Right.
first worksheet.
So on Love You.
On Love You, yep. Right.
Yeah.
That's the first 2-5. The next 2-5,
Yeah.
is the E minor 7 A7,
Yeah.
right?
On Honey.
On Honey.
Uh-huh.
Right. And if you look back at that first sheet, right, that's the second column. That's that same shape. Right. The next 2-5 you'll see in the sheet is the D minor 7 G7,
Yeah.
right? And this is so great because it's actually lined up with the third column of that sheet, right? D minor 7 G7. And then the last 2-5 we see here is in the bridge. We've got B minor 7 E7.
Yeah. On Found You.
Yeah, on Found You. So we've actually covered every possible shape to a 2-5
Yeah.
in this song.
And Jenny said, Brian, what you said about not letting my wrist pop out too much is helping me with those partial bars.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should we play this song? Would that be helpful?
Sure.
Yeah? Or should we go slowly through each of the chords?
Let's go through the first line.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So if we play this, it's to keep it simple, we'll do down strums on the quarter notes.
Okay.
And if there's a space, for instance, between the C and the G minor 7, that's because that's a full 4 counts to a measure. But if they're close to each other, that's like 2 strums.
Two
like
strums.
Two counts,
Yeah,
right?
2 counts.
So we just play it and show
Yeah.
as an example.
Just the first line.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go really slow. Well, we could play the first line all together. Ready? Okay. You want to count?
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do I love you?
Oh my. Do I? Yeah.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was our 2-5 in there. Everybody feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Should we go on to the next line?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, second line.
So this one's gonna have a bunch of different, movements, right? 2 different 2-5s all in a row. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Honey. D minor.
Yeah. And then I have 1 and 2 here. That's first ending, second ending. And the D minor 7, G7, you can kind of just reference the previous D minor 7, G7
Another
that I
2-5.
wrote there. Yeah.
And it's very, very common to have the end of a phrase be a 2-5
yeah.
to lead you back
Back.
into the verse.
Generally, it's called a turnaround, and oftentimes a turnaround will be 2-5 to lead you back to that C, right, or lead you into the F.
So, if you were playing the song and you could just play C the whole time. Indeed, I do. Do I?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's boring for especially for jazz players. Actually, a lot of jazz players would play like 4 different. Would play 3/16. Like would definitely play a variation of 2-5s to get you back to the
To the-
1.
to the
you
one,
know? So
yeah.
that's part of the reason why we use them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So, and let me even just point out a trick to this second line, right, with the E minor 7, A7. Okay. So the way I've shown it here, most of the time I'm showing these sort of, what do you call them, root position or
Yeah.
open position chords?
First position.
First
let's
position
say,
chords,
yeah.
E minor to A7, right?
Yeah.
D minor 7, G7. Okay, here's a cool trick. E minor 7, A7, another way you can play that, right? The next inversion out from that is here, right? We're using that D minor 7 shape, but your index finger is on the 3rd fret. You're barring with the middle finger on the 4th fret and using the pinky on the 5th, right? So that's E minor 7. And we know from that first page that the subsequent shape is there, A7, right? And then there's a parallel movement. Now we're going to do D minor 7 to G7, right? So it's a very, very easy to listen to,
Yep.
right?
You're doing
That's
the exact
yeah.
same pattern for E minor 7 to A7 and then shifting it down for D minor
Yeah.
7 to G7.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly actually what I do in my song Aquamarine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of different ways, right? And that's why I'm kind of showing the pattern thing with the 4 different movements, is because you can use these movements anywhere on the fretboard, whatever sounds good to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heidi's saying, is this song changing keys frequently?
It's a good question. So to someone who's, I guess, just like someone just singing this song,
Yeah.
it's like it's in the key of C, and then when you get to the bridge, it's kind of modulating to the key of F,
Yeah.
right? But even within that, if you ask like a really seasoned jazz player
Like Abe.
like Abe, you guys know Abe Lagrimas, he would say this song changes keys several times. But it's like if you're trying to solo through it, right? If you're soloing from the C going to the G minor C7 F, then you modulate to F. And then the E minor. I'm not doing this I hope I'm not intimidating or scaring.
No.
But
I mean, Heidi asked.
yeah, when you get to the E minor A7, you actually modulate to the key of D.
Right.
Right? And then and then you go back to the key of C.
I feel like I've taught that at some point in some in some jazz song that I was explaining how we essentially change keys. I think Heidi, you're pointing this out because you're seeing it's 2/5, but in a different key,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so you're right that temporarily you are moving keys, but you don't need to reconcept what key you're in. You know,
Yeah.
most people would just say you're still in the
You're still
key
in
of
key of C.
and it's very normal to have this 2/5 movement. You're changing keys temporarily for the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah,
though.
that is a good question. Okay, Jenny's asking, I don't know why when I have a turnaround like that, I like to further split the D minor 7 into D minor, D minor 7.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially that kind of
Uh-huh.
jazz player not wanting to get bored of the same chord thing.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. Should we just now do the first two
Yeah.
lines together?
Yeah,
Like, we'll
let's
just do
do
the
that.
verse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And why don't we do the verse
Twice.
Do it twice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do
Okay.
the first two
Cool.
verses. Yeah.
Let's do it. Should we introduce some major 7 chords? Or just stick to the C's for now?
Let's stick to this
Yeah?
for now, and then
Okay.
get through the bridge, and
Okay,
then we can
and then
explain
we'll
some other
do some
stuff.
other stuff.
I think
Okay.
it would be cool to try some of the other patterns within
Okay.
the song.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Okay. One.
Okay,
two-
from the top, everybody. You ready? We'll just count it in, yeah?
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I love you? Oh my. Do I, honey? Did I do?
First
C
ending.
minor 7, G7. Do I want you? Oh my. Do
Sorry.
I, honey? Did I do? G minor 7, C7. And F, yeah? Okay.
Sorry.
You're good? You need some
Yeah,
water?
I'll take some water.
Okay. Great. So we just went through the first 2 lines. We'll move now to the bridge. And why don't we go through? We'll just do the whole bridge.
Yeah, let's play through and then we'll talk about it.
There's just 1, 2, 5 in there, and most of the other chords we all know.
Okay.
A7 and D7, G7.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Right on the bridge?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm glad that I'm the one who found you. That's why I'm always hanging around you. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So we got that B minor 7 to E7. All right. So we covered a lot of 2/5s in here.
Yeah.
I'm so eager to show so many more tricks with
I
this
know.
song.
I know you are. Let's just try the whole song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do the first 2 verses again, just so
Yeah.
we can kind of get used to
Yeah.
this movement a little bit more. And then we'll end with verse 1 again, yeah?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny in jazz. This is a common mistake. Some people think that it ends with like the form of the song is AABA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, it's not just verse 1, verse 2, bridge, but it goes verse 1, verse 2, bridge, back to verse 1,
Yep.
and that's a full form.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Tidbit knowledge. Fun fact.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I want you? Oh my. Do I, honey? Did I do? Do I love you? Oh my. Do I?
Brian's playing variations.
Honey, did I do? Okay, G minor 7, C7. I'm glad that I'm the one who found you. That's why I'm always hanging around you. Do I love you? Oh my, do I, honey? Did I do? Okay, something like that. Okay. All right.
Okay. So I mean, what we were doing
Yeah.
was just starting to play around with which inversion we chose.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Which
yeah.
2/5 we chose, and maybe we could start. We could do that with you all.
Sure,
Yeah?
sure.
Okay.
So why don't we start with inversions maybe then of the 2/5s before we get into the
Oh, yeah,
different
yeah.
ways of playing
The other chords, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So for instance, let's take the first 2/5, the G7, G minor 7, C7. First inversions here,
Yeah.
but
So do I? Yeah. What's written there is love you.
right,
Basically, the red chord pattern, right?
yeah,
So then, what if we play the blue chord pattern?
yeah. So
right?
do I love you? Yeah,
Yeah. Hi, Kara.
cool.
Or then, what if we try the green one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we do I? Oh, it's so high up
It gets
here.
pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way, if I were to do that, what I would normally do is I play the chord leading up to it
Yeah.
in sort of that range, right? So for instance, even with the blue shape, right? And I'm jumping ahead to some of the bonus material, but I would probably start here. Do I? Right? Because they're so close, right? Those notes. That's what makes for a kind of that nice smooth transition of chords. So if I were to play the green shape, I'd probably play my C chord. Do I love you? Right? Because it's like it's up there, and you're not having to make these huge jumps.
Of course, that requires you to know where all the chords are all over the fretboard. But
This is a
slowly.
start.
Yeah.
The start is
yeah.
to start, experimenting with these different inversions
Yeah.
and making your way up and down.
Right. And I think
Cool.
I've said this before, especially in these jazz workshops, is like, if just learn one and practice one new inversion,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
one
yeah.
new relationship, and when that gets comfortable, you can learn the next
Mm-hmm.
one. Yeah.
So other inversions that we can do is like we just did the E minor
Yep.
7 A7, right? That's just using that same shape.
Yeah. So maybe, let's go to the second line. For honey,
Yeah.
yeah, so for honey, use the green shape
Mm-hmm.
on the third fret. Yeah. So
Yeah.
everybody see what we're doing there? We're taking that same relationship, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then just walking it down. Yeah.
There we go. So here's the next. If we were to just move this whole inversion up, I'll play it for you what it would sound like, right? We're gonna take that yellow shape,
Oh, right.
right?
Yeah.
So what I did there is I'm playing E minor 7 as that yellow shape is the fourth column. Right? Yeah. So we're playing the same chords, now you can play a different inversion of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Why don't we try that?
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone, we're gonna try the honey line, right? With essentially you have a 2/5
Yep.
and we're going to use the yellow relationship.
Shape, yeah, but the yellow shape, we're starting on the 7th fret,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Typically you have a dot there on your ukulele. Yeah? And then you're gonna play A7 like that. And then you're gonna play that same bar shape on that other dot on the 5th fret. Yep. Yeah, that's it. So should we sing it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Honey. Indeed I do.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, the idea is that you could use any of these shapes.
I could go on forever. I love this stuff. Finding different ways to play up and down. Yeah.
And this is what jazz players do. They just
yeah.
look for different ways to play the same old song.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
we play the same songs a million
Yeah.
times because they're great songs. And then you get inventive with
Yeah.
how you stretch, to play the song.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then what's cool here about the second ending here, you go G minor,
Yeah.
7, C7. This is your 2/5 leading into the bridge key.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like telling the listener, like, oh, we're moving into a new
Yeah.
key, right? Even though you're starting in C. Yeah? That the listener now knows, oh, we're going somewhere different. Yeah. And that 2-5 leads you back to the 1 chord. Yeah?
Someone asked, can you say that one more time, please?
What are we saying? About the E minor 7?
Maybe it's about that.
Yeah.
Was it this one?
I think so.
I'm using the 4th column of the first worksheet.
Yeah, the yellow
or it's also
relationship.
shown as the yellow relationship.
Oh yeah, 4th column.
Yep.
You can do that too.
And I'm starting that on the 7th fret. That's an E minor 7 to an A7. And then if I play that bar shape on the 5th fret, that's a D minor 7 to G7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No worries. This is definitely a lot of material. Believe me, I had to pull Brian back.
I want to explain so much more. I get excited about this. Like, okay, let me show you this now.
It's cumulative. It takes time to absorb all of this.
And I'm sorry if it's overwhelming. I was trying to find a way to break this down.
I think this is an awesome lesson. It's like you get a chance to see how all of these 2-5s are in play in this one song. It's more that all of you want to get to the level where you know these chords without having to think about them.
Yeah.
And I know it takes a while, but you know, this is also an intermediate level, right? So you should have some of these chords, at least the chord shapes, under your fingers. Yeah? Christina said, Brian is so smart.
No.
He's also a really brilliant piano player.
Oh, no. Let's stop. Let's not. Okay. Should we go through the bridge with some of these other inversions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at that second line, right?
Yeah.
I'm the one who found you. B minor 7 to E7.
Yeah.
Where else can you play B minor 7 to E7?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one that I would think of is this one. Right? Oh wait. B minor's at 4th fret. So we're playing our red shape.
Got it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
Cat said Eureka. Oh, good.
Cool.
Yeah. You know, I probably, I don't know, practiced for 2 or 3 years before I got it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's not overnight.
No.
This stuff takes time to like, I don't know, let it sink in.
Okay, there's another B minor 7, E7.
Yeah.
And then the second line, we could just play as is.
Always hanging around. Yeah. Yeah?
Cool.
Cool.
Do you want to introduce these bonus chords?
Yeah. We've got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So, Brian was really excited to throw some more at you. So we have this bonus section at the bottom here.
This is more just to kind of show what else you can do with songs like this, right? And there's not necessarily one strict way of playing this kind of a chord progression. And oftentimes when a chart is writing out, say, C major, they give you the flexibility to play any kind of C major that you want, be it C major 7, C major 6, there's, all kinds of extensions. And what I've done here is I'm just kind of showing some of the chords that I know would sound good with this progression. And let me demonstrate that, right? So what you can do is instead of playing a C chord to start the song.
Yeah, that's just the bonus. Just in case anybody doesn't know, the bonus is like just at the bottom of the second page.
Yeah.
It's more that it doesn't directly have to do with the 2-5, but it's gonna make the 2-5 sound better.
Yeah. And the reason I chose a C6 is because the melody actually starts on it's a A to a C. And this A is a 6, all right? Do I? So That's what makes that sound really fit in with the melody. Do I love you? Yeah. I'm gonna throw more stuff because I know we only have a few minutes left.
Yeah. So often you can replace
Yeah.
a C with a C6 and it sounds jazzy.
Yeah. Some people use C major 7. You could do I. The reason I didn't go with C major 7 is because
It doesn't go with the
it
melody.
doesn't go with the melody,
Yeah.
right? But yeah. Do I love you? Okay. The next chord I'm showing is an F6, right? So love you. Oh my.
Yeah.
And then if I'm just gonna jump right into the next substitute
sure.
chord, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my, I'm going to a B9. Do I?
Yeah.
See, what I'm doing is I'm just holding that C, right? Just to add that color to the song, all right? And you don't have to. You can just go from F major F6 and do oh my, do I? You can go to the B7.
Yeah, why don't we
B flat
play the first line? So we're going to play the first line and then just look to the bottom and substitute the C with the C6, the F with the F6, the B flat 7 with the B flat 9.
Yeah.
We'll just go super slow. Actually,
Okay.
you could just do a single strum. You don't have to strum the
Sure,
whole song,
yeah.
right? Okay, so if we start with C6, yeah? This is actually the same as our A minor 7.
Yeah.
That's
It's another lesson, but
But anyway,
Well,
okay, so we'll start here. Yeah.
and I'm barring this, right? I'm barring
Me too.
with the index finger. I mean, really, I'm placing my index finger on that G string, but I am barring with the middle finger on those two.
Yeah. Okay, so let's single strum through with our bonus chords,
Sure.
right? So C6, yeah. Do I? You could play any G minor 7 you want. Love you.
Yeah.
And now play your F6, yeah.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And then our B flat 9. Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I use this chord a lot.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
when you go to the diminish, yeah.
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 And then honey. Yeah, we know that. Okay. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna finish up with these other bonus chords.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go to the bridge,
Okay, go to the bridge.
right? We can do F major 6 again
Yeah.
if you want it, right? I'm glad that I'm the one who found B minor 7, right? Here's the E7. I do this a lot, all right? With this B minor 7, any kind of 2-5 from here to that, instead of opening up that chord like that, I bring my middle finger back and I use my ring finger to bar the bottom 3 strings. Okay?
We're looking at the E9.
Look at the E9.
Substitution,
So
yeah?
the 2-5 in that bridge, it goes. Yeah. Right. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm glad that I'm the one who found you. Right?
Yeah, that's classic Brian.
Yeah. Classic, right?
Yeah.
And then the A9, okay? And the only reason I chose that is because it's like you can hold on, like I'm really like hitting home this note, the B, right? That's why I'm always hanging around you. Yeah.
Cool.
So these are just ways that you can kind of add color to these songs, right? I'm kind of sticking with the 2-5s. I'm just showing different ways that you can, instead of just playing an E7, playing E9, E9, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know I threw a lot out there, but
It's
it's fun, you know, when you kind of dig into
Yeah.
it, and yeah.
It takes time. Yeah. Just pick one chord that sticks and try it. Yeah.
Should we try like
Yeah.
you and I can just play this whole thing and then I can just start playing these different
Yeah.
ways of
Yeah.
playing the 2-5s and
Sure.
these bonus chords.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can go crazy. You can solo if you want.
No, we'll just play through some chords. I just want to give an example of how this is gonna sound in context with a singer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay.
Should we do it?
Cool.
One time through, verse, bridge. Verse?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Here we go.
Cool.
1, 2, 3, 4.
the E7 is pretty smooth. Yeah. Let us know if you have any more questions. What other tunes come to mind to practice 2/5 with? You know, just open up any jazz book and you'll find them everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I actually think Christmas songs have a lot of 2/5s. Christmas songs have a lot of 2/5s. So if you go back, and I had a bunch of, I think, jazz Christmas lessons, maybe last year, the year before. Yeah, those have a lot of 2/5s, but pretty much any jazz song. Yeah.
How are we ending? Oh, we just did a G7.
Yeah.
See,
One time.
there's so many ways you could end it.
Yeah. Honey.
Something like that. Yeah.
Blues in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's all kinds of ways you could end this song. But yeah, a simple C,
Yeah.
G,
151.
7, yeah.
151 is okay.
You could do a little tag at the end.
Cool. B flat 9. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let us know.
Can I do a shameless plug?
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
I started a YouTube channel.
Oh, I already told them that.
Oh,
But you can,
okay.
you should plug it for sure.
Yeah, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
I show some of the concepts that we previously taught, and I condense it into these. I try to do sub 10-minute lessons, and really pack it in there. But I'm starting to explore other lessons. So I'm gonna be publishing one this weekend. It's about swing feel. It's about how to strum a song like this. That's not just straight quarters, but what does it mean to like,
Swing.
yeah, that kind of like, what does that swing feel?
Yeah.
So,
it's
yeah.
B-Liu music.
Yeah, BLIU music,
Yeah.
blue music.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I've
yeah.
learned a lot from working with Brian.
I've learned
playing
tons
with
working
Brian.
with you. Tons.
That's why we hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think. What do you think about asking them to give you suggestions for topics too for your channel?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
what's
if you
the-
comment on his
Comment
videos,
on the videos,
with, yeah,
sure.
with suggestions for topics, because I think that's a good way for you to know
To
what your
figure
audience
out. Yeah,
wants.
yeah. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, this video that I'm making on Swingfield is because somebody asked me, "How did you strum?" Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Moondance.
Moondance.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I should make a video on like strumming patterns.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Yay. Okay. Jenny says, "I will watch every lesson."
Oh.
Jenny watches anything ukulele on the internet. She's an encyclopedia. Christina
Sweet.
said, "Can I see Brian play the piano?"
Piano. I don't think I have anything on that.
No?
I don't think so.
That would be very cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Sure, anytime, of course. Yay!
Yay, Cynthia.
Well, maybe next time we do this, it'll be in Hawaii.
Maybe, huh? I think I'll be there this summer. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I always like playing with Brian, and extra special to have him come teach. So
Sweet.
yay!
Thank you.
Oh, Mimi subscribed.
Sweet.
Yay!
Thank you.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay.
Was
Was there a
there-
beginning lesson? Yeah. If you go to last year, we had 3 different lessons. We had part 1, part 2, part 3, or actually it was like 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6.
Yeah,
But
I crammed a whole bunch
they're
of lessons
in the
there.
Patreon, the most recent Patreon post for today. I
Yeah.
linked to the previous one, so you can review those. And then I think the videos on Brian's YouTube are kind of condensed versions.
Yeah, the
of
condensed
those
versions of
lessons,
those.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
All right, everyone.
Sweet.
Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
I will sign us off. You want to say any last words?
Mahalo.
Okay, ready? Bye.
Bye.